parents want to know, how can I find a safe counselor who can help my child, or who can help me, who can help my family.
Right.
That's
so.
Howdy y'all, I'm Brylan. Now I have a handful of videos on my channel exposing Andy Stanley for the heretic that he is, and I don't use that word lightly. But chances are that you've seen all the insane things that Andy Stanley has done and said over the last few years. And this is such a huge deal for a lot of people because his dad is Charles Stanley, who is known to be a very conservative, biblically based, well-respected Bible teacher, pastor. And to see Andy Stanley, basically the opposite of that, has blown a lot of people away. Now in this video, I won't rehash everything that Andy Stanley has done, but if you want to see a deeper dive into Andy Stanley denying the authority of the Bible, affirming LGB, and claiming that just because Jesus believed what he was saying doesn't make it true, then go watch my videos. This pastor is leading Christians to hell, and this is pure evil. Andy Stanley, Jeff Durbin, and Christian morality. These two videos will explain everything you need to know. However, in this video, there has been a bombshell leak. I'm going to show you this clip that shows some of the leaked footage of an LGB training session. This is a training session where Andy Stanley's church, North Point, tries to teach Christians how to be more LGB affirming. And then I'm going to show you the connection that this man in the video has to Andy Stanley and his church that will blow your mind. Real quick, would you mind hitting that thumbs up button? When you like this video, you're not agreeing with the insanity. You're helping push it out to more people to help spread the truth. Now, before I show you this, however, just real quick, a little bit of context. You're probably aware of the Unconditional Conference that Andy Stanley and his church puts on. This is an LGB affirming conference held at his church at North Point Community Church. And it's hosted by Andy Stanley. But you also have speakers at this conference like Justin Lee over here to the right, as well as Brian Neitzel. In fact, here's Brian Neitzel. This is one of the premier speakers for Andy Stanley's conference. Here he is standing with a sign saying, "I'm sorry, some Christians don't get how amazing, bad A, and perfect you are." This is a LGB man, as well as Justin Lee, a self-proclaimed J Christian. But there was also footage of Andy Stanley teaching this.
Figure out how to get straight people as excited about serving and engaging as the gay men and women I know, we would have a volunteer backlog. A gay person who still wants to attend church after the way the church has treated the gay community, I'm telling you, they have more faith than I do. They have more faith than a lot of you.
So keep all that in mind. A conference about teaching you how to be LGB affirming, but watch this leaked video right here. And then I'm going to show you the shocking connection that this man in the video has to Andy Stanley and his church. Now, the whole first minute of this video, he describes what gender dysphoria is, and it leads into him telling the story you're about to hear.
Now, through the years, we've gotten to know several families. There's one family in particular that's very helpful for me. Their journey first started when their student was 5 years old. So it was before any of the middle school hormones of what's going on could even take place. And these parents handled it so well and took every step so slowly. This family first started going to a child psychologist and seeing a medical specialist.
First mistake.
There were times they started using different pronouns at home, but only at home. They were not using these pronouns at school. They weren't even asking extended family to use those pronouns yet. They weren't asking friends to do it yet. Then a big step was to pick a new name from the other gender so they could start using that. But once again, only the new name around the home. And they could start wearing different clothing, first just one day a week, once again, only at the home. The next big step was going to the extended family, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, and say, hey, will you start using this name and these pronouns for our child? Now, somewhere along the way, medical intervention started for the student. If we're talking about something in middle school, more than likely medical injections are going to be about stopping puberty as opposed to having a surgery. That would probably come
is that
later
it?
in life.
Okay.
It would be just a matter of, hey, let's slow down or stop puberty from even starting for this child.
Keep that in mind. This is a training video from Andy Stanley's church on how Christians should approach LGB and TWAN and all the things. And listen to how he's talking about, well, they started to block puberty in this child. No surgery, just blocking puberty. And then the surgery can come later. And how all the pronouns and all the transitioning and all that was just taking place within the home at first. You know, the biblical way to do it. Well, if you thought that was bad enough, listen to what he has to say next.
Now, at this point, the next big thing that's going to happen is them starting to ask the public to start using a different set of pronouns and a different name. They finally go to the school system, ask them to start using those different pronouns. And what eventually happened was the school system, the family, the extended family, were all using different name and pronouns for this child, but their local church would not do it. Their local church said, nah, because we've known him since he was a little boy, we're not going to start saying her. So not here, not at our church. We've known you too long to be able to do that. And so everywhere this child went in life, they were saying you were one thing, but only at church, you had to pretend to be something else. And they had to leave that church. And they finally came here, started talking to our care ministry staff, and we realized, oh my goodness, we cannot be the last place a student feels comfortable. That's the opposite of our goal for church, is to be the last place you feel comfortable talking about anything.
Here he is blaming the church for not going along with the world, for not giving themselves over to Satan. They're trying to make it sound like the loving thing to do is to allow this child to transform themselves. No, the church should be the first place to speak up. Just like that church did when that family went and tried to demand them to give in. The church said, no, we won't do that. We know who this child is, who has been created in the image of God, and we love that child enough to tell them the truth. That is what the church should be doing, is loving people and having compassion on people enough to tell them the truth and not give in to the lies that they have fallen for. It is a terrible tragedy for anybody that is going through these LGB, the twans, all those things, all the things. It is a terrible thing to leave them there and with no hope. There is only one hope, and that is through Jesus Christ, who sets us free from our sins, from our fleshly desires that want to control us and lead us further and further away from how God created us to be. Yet this church, these wolves here, are trying to tell you that the loving thing to do is to affirm these people in this destruction, in their depravity. Now, this man's name is Britt Kitchen, and I want you to see the ministry that he is over at Andy Stanley's church, North Point Community Church. He is over the middle school ministry, and they call it Transit. Now, you got to admit that is just like an insane connection there that has to do with leading middle schoolers to find a faith of their own. This dude shouldn't be anywhere near kids, and this should blow your mind. It's absolutely disgusting. North Point Community Church is a snake den. Now, it's not just Britt Kitchen over here. There's also many leaders at North Point Community Church and within the North Point ministries. For example, Debbie Causey. I want you to listen to what they say in this video. Again, this has to do with twansing children.
Parents want to know, how can I find a safe counselor who can help my child, or who can help me, who can help my family?
Right.
That's...
So I don't get to do as much counseling as I used to because of there's at least 11 ministries at North Point that are under care. And so we do a lot of one-time appointments where we're assessing, but we do refer people to safe counselors when it comes to this subject. I think there's, what is it called, Greg? The Closet.
Christian Closet.
Yeah. Christian Closet. They are a great group.
The Christian Closet. I want you to see what this demonic organization does. Meet your counselors. Every single one of these counselors have their pronouns in their with their name, and they are self-proclaimed LGB themselves. Even twanning. There's even theys and all the things. All the things are here. This is where they send them to be indoctrinated by LGB people who claim to be a part of a Christian organization, when all they're doing is indoctrinating you into living in your depravity. Pride Month is a celebration of love and beauty of Jesus' teachings. You know, instead of going to conferences like this where they're going to try to indoctrinate you, these wolves in sheep's clothing, and try to teach you that your depravity is a good thing, believers, Christians, true followers of Christ, the church, the true church, needs to have compassion on those living in any type of sin. Doesn't have to just be LGB or whatever. We need to have compassion on those who are struggling with sin. Teach them the truth of God's word and show them how to be set free through a relationship with Jesus Christ and through reading the very breathed out words of God in order to nurture their souls, their hearts, their minds. And no, we shouldn't be mean to LGB people. We shouldn't lash out. We shouldn't push them away as if they have some sort of disease. We should encourage them to seek Christ and show them how to, while at the same time never affirming the sin. Real quick, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 11. This is actually when Paul, the apostle, talks. He refused to take money from the Corinthian church because he was trying to distinguish himself from the false teachers, the false prophets, the false apostles that were showing up at the Corinthian church and taking advantage of people and taking their money, lying to them. They were deceivers. They were workers of Satan. This is what he had to say about those false teachers. Listen to this. Verse 12 through 15. And what I am doing, I will continue to do in order to undermine the claim of those who would like to claim that in their boasted mission, they work on the same team as we do. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is no surprise if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. Their end will correspond with their deeds. North Point Community Church fits into this category. They have shown this time and time again. Andy Stanley has shown this time and time again, that they are workers of iniquity. They have disguised themselves as angels of light, but yet their true master is Satan. Again, I don't say this lightly, but we must beware. Wolves in sheep's clothing like Andy Stanley and North Point Community Church. Their end will correspond to their deeds. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button, you know, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video.